I need you to hate so I can use you for your energy.
This is Real Sales Talk. Real sales advice from real sales practitioners. Giving you tips on how to dominate your sales quota are your co-hosts, Sean Mitchell and Phill Keene.
We don't have a process for referrals at most companies. I go into a company, I say, what's your referral process? They have no, well, what do you mean?
I think that goes back to the premise that why do salespeople suck at prospecting? I mean, number one reason why they suck at prospecting is they don't actually do it.
If you are successful and nobody knows, in 2016, 20, 2025, you're not successful.
You ever want to find out what's going on in the company? Get in the car and spend a day with the top 3 salespeople. You'll find out in 5 minutes.
Because you can't be a trusted advisor without two things, trust and advice. I mean, you need both of them.
What's up, Real Sales Talkers? We are back. Your guy, Sean Mitchell, and then me, now as co-host here in season 4. We're on to episode 4. We're going to change it up a little bit today. We're on the holiday, so Sean and I decided to get together and the coming year of 2017 and all the wonderful things that are going to happen in sales. So we have some good topics. Want to get into it, and I think it'll be a good show. It'll be kind of fun. So love to hear your guys' comments. Please reach out on Twitter using the hashtag Real Sales Talk. Reach out to Sean or I on LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook, wherever you guys want to find us. Always looking to connect to you guys. In droves recently, it feels great, and we appreciate your support. And 2017 is going to be a great year. So let's get into it. Sean, let's kick it off. Tell me what you think. 2017, big year for sales topics. What do you got?
Yeah, so I've talked a lot about this particular topic, artificial intelligence, in several episodes throughout previous seasons. I think it's important to talk about. I think we as salespeople, as organizations that have sales teams, we're going to start to hear more and more talk about artificial intelligence. There's already some great companies out there. And I think we're going to see even more companies. The angle that I think I want to take with this particular topic for artificial intelligence for you and I tonight is the idea of machine learning software helping sales reps save time and put forth or bubble to the top, whatever you want to call it, the most qualified leads possible. So there's lots of different ways that this can be done. I know that Microsoft and Salesforce just made some big investments in some AI. There's some smaller startups as well, like Spiro is a CRM that has a artificial intelligent digital assistant kind of tied to it, reading your emails and proactively letting you know when you need to reach out to a particular lead or opportunity, whatever it is. You've got companies like Conversica that are kind of on the front end, that are following up and nurturing trials that are coming into a particular company. So I think that what we're going to see, Phill, is machine learning software that will help expedite that sales process, that sales cycle, and allow sales reps to focus on the most qualified leads or opportunities or trials or referrals or whatever it is, and it's gonna help people close more deals. So I'll kind of kick this back to you, Phill. What sort of things are you hearing in the marketplace, in software, in sales, in regards to artificial intelligence?
So where I think it's going to head, I think there's a couple different problems that kind of lie in front of AI today. I think it's people don't trust it yet. And I think it's going to be one of those things where me as a person that has budget looking to purchase technology, I'm going to go invest in something that I know is going to make an ROI. You're going to see some companies that do it well and figure it out, and they'll be beneficial. I think there's a lot of people that are going to test it out, and it's going to work okay. The people that are going to do well with AI have a process in place already. People that don't have a process, and this is all technology most times, they have a good data process. They have the ability to input the appropriate data. I really think you have to feed the machine with enough information for AI to be valuable. And I think to your point, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think to your point, you're saying that it's going to be that side. It's going to be filling in the data and cleaning the back end and teaching you and making you smarter about what's already in your database and making smarter about what's already coming to you already. I don't know if we're ready to make the one-to-one communication make sense for AI. I think in a B2C world, maybe we'll let somebody in that world perfect it first, and then it will come to the B2B world. Because it's kind of contradictory to what I think my next trend is going to be. That's why I think it's going to be a good topic. But that's how I feel. I think there's a lot of things that kind of lay in front of it where data is a big key behind it. And I think the second point is a lot of technology has to speak well to each other. And not enough technology is giving information back and forth for it to be valuable enough. So you have to find a tool that can kind of sit in the hub of everything, and it's not the CRM, which is contradictory to what we've talked about for the last 20 years or really 15 years, that CRM is the database that you keep everything in all records. Now we need systems that can update additional software, not just CRM, that can grab information from the CRM and then send it off to whatever you're sending it off to at the end of your AI experience, your personal interaction, your email even, right? Where it's, hey, Sean, I saw that you did this action. I'm going to update my record in CRM, make sure all that's appropriately marked and accounted for. So pipeline and staging is all appropriate. And then I'm also going to give that information back to you. And then you're going to be able to communicate one-to-one enough to let the AI actually take the next step, which is, I'm actually going to send the email for you and I'm going to customize it for you too, Sean. So you're not going to do anything. I don't know if we're ready for that yet. There's always going to be a human element. Even after AI takes into a big effect, I think there's still a human element.
I think so. Here's where a lot of the pain points are for me as a sales professional. Number one is keeping track of conversations. So let's say, I get a phone call to my cell phone of someone who's signed up for a trial, interested in the software, wants to talk. I'm not going to say no, call me back. I'm in my car. I don't have any place to take down notes. I'm gonna seize the opportunity and carry on the conversation. So what I need artificial intelligence to do is to be able to articulate or summarize or even transpose that conversation into a central place. I think the CRM is in the best position to be the hub of communication. It's not that today, at least I don't see anyone doing this. Spiro, I think, has the beginning stages of something that will really kill what other CRMs are not doing, which is taking care of that pain point of the sales rep of keeping track of conversations. So phone conversations, and then I also want to read my emails and be intuitive about who I need to reach out to, who I need to look into, that sort of thing. So email, phone, even text, any correspondence that takes place online or over the phone. I want artificial intelligence to be able to understand that and then be able to make a next best recommendation. And if you're a sales rep who's doing a really great job, you're probably managing multiple opportunities. I want artificial intelligence to tell me, follow up with this one first. The timing is right. They're online. They opened up that email, and the AI gets the pixel open back and knows that they're looking at that email. So all those there's like lots of moving parts that need to kind of be brought together and add that artificial intelligence in to be able to allow the salesperson to focus on closing the deals instead of adding notes into the CRM. Keeping when is the best time to follow up with an opportunity. Artificial intelligence should be telling you those things.
Yeah, I think there's a concept out there, and I think the second part of the data goes into automation before AI actually works. So I think we have to get automation appropriately set up. Data has to be set up properly, and all of it goes back to, there's a term that CEB uses called seller's burden, where the idea is it's all of the things that lay in front of you that you just hate on a daily basis. It's the things that you have to carry on your back in order to get a deal done. That's where I think AI comes in and it makes things, I think that's where they get the biggest wins quickest, and hopefully get adoption of AI. And then I think there's other things it can do in terms of AI can even be a lot of the internal communication tools, which is grabbing information from somewhere and it's communicating. Maybe it's sending the email to finance at the end of the deal, saying, hey, this is what needs to happen. Or it's hey, I grabbed my notes from one spot and I'm going to deliver it to the other person so it's in a nice little package for them. There's a lot of things they can do that removes the day-to-day tasks that just bug you as a salesperson, that you shouldn't have to do on a daily basis, because we're getting close enough now that we should be able to eliminate a lot of it.
Yeah. Lead scoring is another one that I think artificial intelligence can help kind of bring that insight. If you've got a lead who's very active on the website, they sign up for a trial, they're very active, they're going to be a higher lead score. Artificial intelligence needs to be keeping an eye. I think artificial intelligence is going to be the CRM. I think it's going to be customer relationship management. It's going to be tracking everything. And a sales rep wants to log in and maybe take a look at previous conversations. Great. But artificial intelligence will be proactively reaching out, I think, to the salesperson. This isn't 2017. I guess it's 5. But I'm just kind of waxing philosophically here about where it will go, and to keep an eye on things like the companies that I Versica, Hero. There's some other ones like Pardot. I think will also have a hand in building this machine learning that will proactively reach out to a sales rep and say, call this person right now, they're ready to sign up.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think there's a lot. I think there's going to be big players. If you look, like you said, Microsoft get into the game, Salesforce got into the game, Conversico, which you talk about all the time, they just got money. I think they got $30 some odd million. Like, those companies need to get fueled a little bit. And you're starting to see that a little bit too, as the money is starting to shift out of SaaS a little bit into AI. It's super interesting to people. And I think if you do it well and you get it right and you're the first one, it could be, there is the next Salesforce, I think, in a batch of AI companies that are out there. But I have not seen an AI tool yet that's valuable enough that can drive enough that does it well. And I'm excited to see the one that does.
Did you see the video that Mark Zuckerberg posted about
for Jarvis?
Yeah, Jarvis.
I've not. I've meaning to watch it. Impressive. Like, it's, yeah.
I don't know if it was just fine editing, video editing, but it seemed really smooth, really quick, and intuitive.
Yeah.
And that's what it be, I think.
Right. And even if you look at like Alexa for Amazon, it's good. It's not great. There's a lot of things that I want to be able to ask it a question and get the answer back, and I want to feel like a personalized answer. I worked at Cha prior to working at Octave, and Cha, we were a human guided search engine, and we ended up with some odd, like 3 million plus odd answer pairings. So any question you would ask, we basically had an answer already in a database for it. And we had guides that actually went back and answered the questions for you. So that was the idea, is like, this was pre-Google, whenever they first came out, to where you could send a text message to it and it would get an answer back. And it was somebody that went and found the answer for you on the internet. Phones and all that stuff, and changed what the product was, obviously. But the idea is that you want it, and that's what actually took hold, was that, and this is 10 years ago, was they love the ability to ask a question to somebody and then got a very personal answer back. I was speaking to Sean, and I was only talking to Sean. The answer I gave you was very specific to what you asked me. That's the kind of thing. If we can get far enough along with AI, we can get there. So I think there's going to be some human element that's going to get added in the back end eventually, where it's some human assisted answers a little bit, that has give it a little bit more personality. I think that's the problem with AI. Like, I do want it to work very well, but I want it to be, for me, I want it to be personalized, especially in B2B. If we get to the point where they're customer facing, I want it to be very much you and me having a conversation. And that's going to be a really tough place for them to get to. And I think AI will get there one day. Especially things like inbound leads coming in. Like, that's why I see like a Marketo, a Pardot, a HubSpot, a whatever, who do invest in AI. Because you imagine if they own that part of the tool as well with marketing automation, it'd be super valuable for them. So yeah, I completely agree.
That's a good transition into some of the topics that you want to talk about.
Yeah. So the first topic I want to bring up was batch and blast email, and the batch and blast selling. And so we did a sales trends piece for Octave, and there was really two trends that kind of passed up, that became very apparent. One was batch and blast selling was going to just disappear this next year, or the other side of that, which was we're going to get highly personalized. I think there's a world for it, and I think there's going to be people that are going to figure it out. I do believe in personalization. I believe in, you worked at BombBomb, right? That is as personal as you can get. It's a one-to-one communication with an video email that you can send to somebody. And I think that's it. Like, people are starting to get really smart and understanding how you communicate. But I also think it's hard to scale that. So you almost need what you and I just talked about with AI to get smart enough that you can scale fast and you can consume data quickly, to make better decisions in order to send personalized email or personalized phone calls to somebody, or social touches. Something needs to be guiding you to be able to be personalized and do it well at scale. I don't know. What are your thoughts on batch and blast? Like, where do you feel that is actually at?
Well, I have a little bit of a mixed feeling. I think it does produce some results. However, you know, in the words of marketers ruin every salespeople ruin everything, and you know, I think the intent behind that statement is the more companies do something, the more less they are, and the less impact that it has. And so it becomes normal or commonplace, and it's the unique things that make a company or sales rep stand out. So I think that anything that can can be personalized has the ability to get attention. I mean, it's the whole reason why, you know, handwritten notes work so well, and personal video emails so well. You know, I when I look at my schedule right now, I mean, it's pretty full. And when I think about doing personal communication, I can do it to a small few. Like, I focused on, 5 people that I know I wanted to reach out to and nurture that relationship, who are considering purchasing real space. Beyond that, though, I mean, I'm not going to spend much time on people that I haven't made contact with. I do think though that adding a personal touch, personal outreach to someone that you haven't made contact with is a good way to get someone's attention. But as you talk about the scalability, becomes really challenging when you're managing 200 leads at a time. Right. It's going to take a lot of time to work through those people. At the same time, when new leads are coming in.
There's a concept out there. There's a guy, his name is Jason Heckel from Serious Decisions, who kind of came up with the concept, which is called small net fishing. And I think this is where I think the world's going to end up heading. I think there's going to be a hybrid between the extreme, we're going to personalize every email, to the, I'm still going to send 1,000 emails because I know it works and I'll get 2 responses. I think there's going to be something that kind of meets in the middle, which is kind of what small net fishing does, which is I'm going to go take that I speak to or can speak well to. I'm going to go take those 2 competitors. I'm going to build a campaign around it. And this kind of leads to the other thing, which is the account-based marketing world, right? It's kind of the hybrid between account-based marketing and regular marketing automation. And it's taking. I know I can talk to Sean about, hey, you use this competitor, and you're from this place, and based off of those two things, you also use this CRM system. So because I know that information about you, here's 3 really relevant things that we should talk about. And you're using that to kind of scale out your personalization. And you can do it to 100 people, because there's probably 100 people that work at a tech company that use the same CRM that you do, that also uses one of my competitors, that because I know that information, I can email you about it. And it's personalized enough, and there's enough value in it, that if you read it, you'd still feel like, all right, at least they understand why they're reaching out to me. When people say the batch and blast is going to end, it's going to be things like I know you're the CEO, Sean, but who would be the right person to speak to about this? Like that just doesn't work anymore. So I think that's the world I think people are trying to get away from, but there's still going to be marketing automation. I think that's where people are mistaking the batch and blast versus fill out a good 500, 600 emails that are very, very highly targeted. Which is that we'll move into the next topic, which is the account-based model, right? And you can have, if you have other thoughts, definitely share. The account-based model is going to be well-defined this year. I really think someone's going to figure it out. And there was a really good post by Trish Bertuzzi, who you and I both respect a ton. It was account-centric versus account-based, and why there's a difference there. Account-centric is, hey, I got a batch of companies I think are really good, and I'm going to maybe reach out to them on a one-to-one basis. And there's account-centric versus account-based is going all in, full force, and we're going to build very specific content from the marketing side. We're going to hit ads on them. We are going to focus on them. We are going to have highly personalized messages from the sales team. Like, it is full in, all in. The entire company is going after a certain batch of accounts. But there's a good article. If you guys look at her LinkedIn page, Trish Bertuzzi, it's the last article she posted on LinkedIn. And we'll link it as well in the description. But a good concept between account-centric versus account-based. But I think it's going to get clearly defined. So that's where my head's at right now.
Yeah, it just seemed like all of a sudden, and I apologize for those listeners. There's an echo. Phil, do you hear the echo when I talk? Okay, good. So it just seems like all of a sudden I started hearing about account-based marketing and account-based selling. Like just this year alone. Did you was this even on your radar before this year?
A little bit. I mean, I think it was out of necessity, right? It was, we shrank our team a little bit. We're like, we got to get really tight about what we're doing, and we didn't call it that. It was targeted marketing and target accounts. Like, we've been doing target accounts for. I think that's where there has to be a better definition. And even if you talk to some of the account-based marketing companies or the account-based selling companies or whatever, account-based sales dev companies, how they define it's different. So there's going to be something that's going to kind of pull that all together and just to figure out what account-based actually means. And like I said, Trish's post, I think, does a really good job. But yeah, it has not been on my radar. So I'm curious to see, maybe it's because I'm in the marketing side and I hear it a lot more, but curious to see where your head's at. Like, what have you heard? What do you feel is going to happen with account-based?
I still feel like I'm trying to wrap my head around what it. I mean, I understand the idea of targeted outreach, and I even listened to an interview that Jim Keenan did with Terminus CMO. You probably know his name. I can't think of his name at the moment.
Sangram.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Sangram is very, very smart when it comes to the account-based stuff.
So I got done with that episode, and I'm like, okay, I think I get it. So it wasn't as resolute. So I'm still trying to wrap my head around this. Like, I understand the idea of a very targeted outreach and how that gets people's attention. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Just seems like it's this evolving concept that will I suspect as well will be formalized in this next year.
Yeah, and actually in that post that Trish put up, there's a really interesting interesting point she makes. She's like, there's companies that are selling to $5,000 deals, $20,000 deals, and $50,000 deals, and or maybe it was a $500,000 deal. Regardless, there's all walks of life, all different ACV, all different customer profiles, all say they're doing account based, and that's alarming. Like, that's a problem. And I think there's going to be a lot of losers that try to go into the account-based model, and they're not built for it. They might be built for batch and blast selling, heavy inbound, old school, not old school, but like content marketing, right? Paid ads, like that might work for some companies if you have a small ACV and you have a fast enough cycle for your sales cycle. That stuff still works. It doesn't. You can't turn it off. That faucet doesn't turn off tomorrow. And you need to keep that faucet going at the same time. I think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to go into this new sexy account-based thing, and they're going to spend a lot of money doing it, and their market's not clearly defined, their customer's not clearly defined, their message isn't clearly defined. And without that, you're going to be spinning your wheels, and you're going to spend a lot of money on it, and you're going to spend a lot of time and effort on it. And if you go all in, and you truly go all in, you have your sales team and your marketing team both focused on it, as well as your product team, and all of your resources are going towards that. What happens 3 quarters from now, whenever you focus on something that wasn't working, is all of a sudden you have no pipeline. So there's going to be a lot of losers by the end of the year that come up short because they focus so hard on what they felt was the appropriate target, and it turns out that it wasn't. So that's my biggest concern with it. Is all those different customer makeups and all that stuff, and everybody's doing account based. And that's a red flag, you know.
It sort of reminds me of when social selling was like the hot thing. There were conferences on it. Everyone was talking about it. It was like the thing to do. It seems like it's the idea of social selling has kind of cooled down a little bit, in a little bit more to like a moderate level, instead of like the coming messiah, you know, for your sales woes. I think we'll start to see a lot more conferences and events around this topic.
Yeah, I am 100% in agreement there. So I think you look at like what the Flip My Funnel has done with Terminus. And it's got a group behind it, and there's a strong following. But even sitting there listening to people talk, nobody has the same definition. Nobody really, like, it's all slightly off, just a little bit. And some of it is because the people that are really leading that conversation are people that are selling that, which is fine, like that you absolutely have to. Like, I'm going to talk to you all day long about document workflow and why it's important. I'm pitching it, and I'm going to tell you why you should automate things. But it's you can trust me to a certain extent, but I have a bias. I have a dog in the fight, right? I have a horse in the race. And I think there's something where I definitely believe in the account-based model, but I don't think it's all of it. I don't think you put all of your eggs in that basket. I think you have to diversify. And that's actually one thing I think that I've seen a lot of companies that make the mistake with account-based model is they completely jump off of whatever they're doing already. Quarters later, they're like, wait a minute, what happened? Where'd all our leads go? Why do I have no pipeline? And it's because you completely changed the way you did your business, and you weren't ready for that yet. You didn't understand it well enough. But there's a lot of value in it. Like, being highly targeted and very personalized and having a very focused approach is not a bad thing. You're going to learn a lot. So.
Yeah. I think it's going to be interesting. So we'll have to wait and see what it looks like in 3 months, 6 months. Maybe we'll have a better idea about a more firm definition of what that means to businesses.
Absolutely. Anything. So I think it's good. Let's wrap, but any big trends? What's the big thing? It's social selling, ABM. What do you think? Is there anything else from you? Like, what's the buzzword, I guess, for 2017 for you?
I might go back to this idea of automation, personalized automation, intuitive automation. I would like to keep an eye out for software that helps do the heavy lift. More of that. I want to see more of that. I want to see more companies. And I want to see more better development from the existing companies. So that sales department, of sales reps can spend their time doing what they do best, and we all know what that is not. And it's not note taking. It's not data entry. It's building relationships, building rapport, finding value, and closing deals down.
Awesome. I think it's spot on. I really do. I think the seller burden term. It's probably not going to be broadly used, but I firmly believe in it. I think it's going to come to the forefront. That people are starting to realize that they've bought too much technology. They don't use 3/4 of it. And then the ones they use it okay. Adoption from sales technology has not been great over the last decade. I think there's a lot of factors that are kind of bubbling up. On top of it, you're adding a layer of AI on top of that, and you're adding this account-based, whatever else you're talking about at the same time. And all of these new things are just kind of coming to the marketplace. I think this is a year where people kind of say, slow down a little bit. And there is some consolidation of technology internally, maybe not company-wise, but internally there's consolidation where you go back and look at your tech stack and you drop 2 things and you figure out the ones that work together. And if they don't work together, you go find a replacement for one of them that does work for the other one. It just blows my mind when people would buy 5 or 6 technologies now and they don't work together and they don't speak to each other. And until we get that right, AI is going to fail miserably. It's going to be good, and there's going to be companies that get it right because their technology and their processes is well aligned, but there's going to be companies that don't have that. And they're going to try to replicate what other companies are doing that are successful with it. And they're going to fall on their face because their technology doesn't speak to itself. I think that's going to come to the forefront in 2017, and that all of that seller burden, all the problems that people have, will be placed on top of all of that. And they're going to start to realize that that's why it's happening.
Cool. So I'm thinking to the next episode here. I believe we have the next episode locked in. We haven't recorded it yet. We'll do the recording next week, but we're going international, you guys, and we're gonna talk with a CEO of a sales company that deals with sales incentives, sales motivation, keeping sales reps engaged, and then tracking performance. So going to be an interesting topic. Make sure and stay tuned for that. I'll kick it over to you, Phil. Any last words?
Everybody, thank you for listening to Real Sales Talk in 2016, and we're definitely looking forward to you bringing you guys better content and more content in 2017. It's going to be exciting. So there's that, and I'm excited. I think Sean and I are having a blast, and hopefully you guys are too.
Totally, and I'll take a moment to just kind of mention that we did I published a LinkedIn post on the top 5 interviews from 2016, and I think if you haven't taken a look at it, you can go to Phill or I's page, and I think you can probably find it there. You can also go to SeanMMitchell.com and find it there too. I run it on Medium as well, and I think it'll be interesting if you want to get a Cliff Notes version of some of the best highlights. Watching those 5 interviews will be a good way to do that.
I want to give a quick shout out actually to a friend of mine, Matt Hunkler, who just started Powder Keg. Actually, I'm wearing the shirt right now, so I figured I'd give him a shout out. Powder Keg, it is a new podcast. They're like 10 episodes in. He actually got on Inc.com as like one of the top 10 or 15 whatever podcasts listened to for entrepreneurs. So anybody in the Real Sales Talk audience that loves podcasts, because you're consuming them, obviously, check out Powder Keg. Awesome podcast. some pretty innovative people that are talking and talking through a lot of things from an entrepreneurial standpoint. So cool thing. Just want to give somebody a shout out, and that's what I got.
Sweet.
Cool.
All right. We'll see you guys in the next episode.
Later, guys.